Our third medal laureate tonight is Dr. Boško Jakovljević, known to most of you for his outstanding contributions in the field of IHL, International Humanitarian Law, and also IDRL. The tribute to Dr. Jakovljević will be presented by Dr. Dragan Radovanović, who is the president of the Red Cross of Serbia. Dr. Jakovljević will then also speak on behalf of our laureates tonight.
Dr. Boško Jakovljević, Doctor of Law from the University of Belgrade, specialized in international humanitarian law after the Second World War, with a focus on the protection of the civilians in the time of war. This orientation led him to the RCRC in the early 50s, when he met and worked with his future mentor, Professor Jean Pictet, one of the most prominent people in the field. Dr. Jakovljević joined the Yugoslav Red Cross as a volunteer in his 20s, and the Red Cross has been an integral part of his life ever since. After completing his studies, he embarked on a professional career at Yugoslav Red Cross, where he was involved in providing legal advice, producing publications, and doing tracing work, eventually rising to the position of Director of International Relations. Throughout his long career, Dr. Jakovljević relentlessly pursued the aim close to his heart, spreading knowledge of international humanitarian law. Dr. Jakovljević has promoted IHL within and outside the movement and greatly contributed to its development. The depth of his knowledge and insight have made him a well-known figure in the movement and beyond. He has been actively involved in the National Society Commission on IHL, serving as its president from 1990 to 2000, and he is still its vice president. His service has been solicited not only by various movement components, but also by numerous universities and other external organizations. As initiator of the codification of the law on a Red Cross disaster relief in 1964, Dr. Jakovljević contributed to and laid the building blocks for the principles and the rules for the disaster relief, which were adopted by the 21st International Conference of the Red Cross and Red Crescent in 1969. He advised the Commission on the movement statutes and rules of procedure in the 80s, and contributed to the program of the Red Cross Red Crescent against racism and racial discrimination in 1982. He participated in and actively contributed to the outcomes of 2 peace conferences of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent, and was a member of the Red Cross Red Crescent Peace Commission. He has participated in 10 international conferences of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent. From 1974 to 1977, he was a member and served as secretary of his country delegation to the diplomatic conference on the additional protocol to the Geneva Conventions. Since his retirement in 1986, Dr. Jakovljević has been an active volunteer of the Red Cross of Serbia, dedicating his efforts to international disaster relief law and to the guidelines adopted by the 30th International Conference in 2007. A rigorous scholar, Dr. Jakovljević has been a living example for the promotion of IHL in every walk of the society. His expertise in and commitment to IHL has won him high esteem and inspired many to follow in his footsteps. Dr. Jakovljević is deeply sensitive to human suffering and continues to be involved in many humanitarian activities in the Balkan region. For his personal commitment, his important contribution to the development of humanitarian activities, and his work in the promotion of the movement's fundamental principles and ideals, the Standing Commission of the Red Cross and Red Crescent has unanimously agreed to award Dr. Boško Jakovljević the Anri Dinan Medal, the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement's highest distinction.
Dear friends, I think I have chosen the right word. Dear friends, because we cooperate with each other all the time. Different projects, but as time goes on, the cooperation is widening and deepening. There is always something to do for the Red Cross. When I say, when you are a soldier of this huge army of Red Cross members and supporters, then you can learn many important features of the movement. And when I say Red Cross, I mean also Red Crescent, with the same rights as the Red Cross, for the countries having that emblem. Now, I would like to draw your attention to a few comments just on some essential features of the movement as we see it. First is that there are no limits to Red Cross action, to Red Cross mandate, to Red Cross activities. Whenever you have human suffering, and human suffering is huge, and it's all the time widening and developing, the Red Cross can act, and that is his program of action. He began very in a limited way, but then as the years passed on, he's widening his activities to various situations and various fields, so that there is a constant change on the same principles, on the basis of the same principles. Another very important feature of the Red Cross is voluntary service. Voluntary service means nobody was forced to join the Red Cross, but you should also not be prevented from doing so. And this right of the people to decide about their engagement, that is a factor which contributed to the great expansion of the CRIF. I think that the number of members and of the countries would not be so big if it was compulsory. Now there is another, among the many points, there is another that I think deserves to be mentioned. Very early in its long history, the Red Cross movement was regarded as a contribution to peace, as a factor of peace. Already when the Red Cross was 30 years old, in 1901, the Nobel Peace Prize Committee awarded his first peace medal to two persons. One of them was the founder of the Red Cross, Anri Dinan. But they didn't stop at it. 4 more medals were awarded, this time to the organization, to the ICRC for its activity in the First World War, in his activity in the Second World War, which was extremely difficult to develop humanitarian action, but they did it very courageously. And then, after the war, when 1 century passed since the foundation of the Red Cross, the International Committee and the Federation was awarded for the 4th time the Red Cross was benefiting from the Peace Prize Award. So it was evident, there was no debate. To everybody it was clear that it is the contribution to peace, specific contribution in a peaceful way. Peace is not just absence of war. Peace is much more than that, as the Red Cross sees it. Peace is a permanent cooperation among all states and all peoples on very different subjects, but all having an aim to ensure respect for human being and his basic rights. Finally, I would like to point out make the last point of my addressing you. That is the fact that we live in the world of violence. Violence is on the increase. Violence, traditional methods, and new forms, new types, and of course causing terrible victims, suffering people. And what are we doing with this violence? The Red Cross, by its own activity, the whole of its activity, contributes by its ideology, but its principles, and especially by its mission, is certainly contributing to fight this spirit of violence. And it is necessary to this world to have such an organization which raises against violence, not by arms. The Red Cross has no arms at all, but with his mission and his fundamental principles. Therefore, the world needs the Red Cross, and therefore, it's my view that we should be proud to be the soldiers of this huge humanitarian army of volunteers. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Jakovljević, for your very warm and wise words.